What?
Yeah,
Oh,
so he will do it
okay, he wants me to read this. Welcome to the All-American Otaku Show, is that right? Okay, don't kill me. Thank you. Bye.
That's so good.
Join the ride, jumping in where the stories collide. From the screen to the song, this is where we belong. All American Otaku, let's come alive. Let's go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the All American Otaku Show. And this episode is the rise of Pokemon. You can't talk about anime or the rise of popularity of anime without the rise of Pokemon. This IP is a living proof that one simple idea can make a very popular and very big idea that overall creates a new people to watch a new type of thing, which is anime. And the idea that we love and how it's starting to rise and become from a niche market to a very diverse thing where people watch various different anime with very different characters and stuff. They're also, it's so much so I came in there when I went to Safeway one day and I found goldfish crackers that look like Pokemon characters. There was a Charizard, there was a Squirtle, there was a Bulbasaur, and then there was a Pikachu and what have you. This shows the idea of the marketing behind it is genius. You have T-shirts, you have anything you could think of for Pokemon. There was probably a Pokemon for it. It started off as a simple idea of just collecting bugs, and the idea of he used to be a collector living in a small province in Japan. Decided, okay, I'm going to create this IP known as Pokemon. Now here's some information about the character. Now the humble beginnings of Pokemon started off with this guy called Satoshi Tajiri, who grew up in collecting insects, living in one of the suburbs of Japan. This led to him coming up with an idea: what if there's a video game or something that you go and collect creatures? This eventually led to the idea of today known as Pokemon or Pocket Monsters in the English translation. This has proved simple ideas such as Pokemon or even Digimon that came later, that you could come up with a simple idea like collecting or doing this or doing that that could mean a multi-billionaire franchise. That could be one of the people that brought people to anime, bring a light to a culture for something that was considered just okay, collect this and have these battles and simple idea of this. First thing I'm going to talk about is none other than the Pokemon card game, where you collect various cards and various things to fight other Pokemon, which is from your other players who play it, as well as collecting power points to really power boost or power up your Pokemon and what have you. There's like trainers and so forth, and this greater universe Pokemon cards is. The downside is, as popular as the game, so do scalpers knew this. So when a new series come out or a new box come out, scalpers would buy hundreds and hundreds of these boxes, keep them in a garage, and then sell them for an exorbitant price, which I find extremely wrong. While someone like my one of my friends, Happy Savage, would say, "Oh, that's part of marketing and part of business and part of making money." So for him, it probably is a good thing. But the idea that scalpers come in there and make everything more expensive, make it unaccessible for fans as well as kids and stuff who really want to get into Pokemon and really into the anime. But if you have scalpers taking it and making it more expensive, and only the rich or elite people can play. This leads to a major problem because this goes for true fans of the series and two people who just want to greedily make money off someone else's IP and subject. The next thing I'm going to talk about is none other than the Pokemon anime. Pokemon anime starring Ash Ketchum, who goes to Oak and finds his first starting Pokemon being a Pikachu. Pikachu doesn't really like him at first and shocks him until Ash saves him, and then they shock all these breed drills to come there, and he goes for this journey, meets other Pokemon like Charizard, keeping him safe and his tail not going out, which would kill him during the rain. And Charizard's former thing thought it was a useless character and says, okay, I'm just going to abandon you. It goes the idea of friendship. People who meet on the way, Squirtle with the sunglasses and the Squirtle gang. Friends like Misty, who was a trainer, he faced at first and defeated, such as Brock, who's always hitting on the Nurse Joys and Officer Jenny and every other woman he comes across, who started off as a trainer that Ash beats. The idea of friendship comes into competition. Just because you're competing with someone does not necessarily mean you can't be friends with them. The idea of the journey and the adventure, which really sets this idea of Pokemon apart from a lot of different shows. It became a very natural phenomenon. People even remember the song, Gotta Catch 'em All, Pokemon. It's become such a big IP that there's floats in the Macy's parade, all sorts of crazy stuff in this anime. There's also fan theories like Ash, since he's 10 years old through there, that he was actually hit with lightning at the first time you meet Pikachu's, and this is all a fever dream. All this, then you have characters like Team Rocket, who's always getting defeated trying to capture a Pikachu or various Pokemon. He's like, Team Rocket is blasting off again. People cosplay as these characters, such as Ash, various different Pokemon, such as Team Rocket for years. Considering this anime came out in 1996, the idea of the games came out in 1996, shows you how big and vast this anime is. We're going to talk more probably about Pokemon and various other animes in the 90s in a future episode. Next thing I'm going to talk to you about is the Pokemon cosplay effect. Just because these characters look beautiful and reliable and cute and everything else, people cosplay them, such as Pikachu, such as the trainers. Every convention you go to, you will find at least 3 or 4 or 5 Pokemon things, especially in anime conventions. More anime conventions you go to, more Pokemon you can see how vast and great. There's no dying in there. It's been going on since the 90s that this Pokemon keeps on getting bigger and bigger, and the Pokemon effect started getting more celebrated. Eventually, the anime even got rid of Ash and goes for a more female lead. The show is always evolving. There's so many Pokemon, over 100, maybe over 200, maybe over 1,000 Pokemon. So it keeps getting more marketable, more marketed things. There's Pokemon shops in Japan that strictly sell Pokemon stuff. Pokestops are coming here. People get Pokemon plushies, all sorts of t-shirts, all sorts of merchandise for this Pokemon. This is a very great IP and great thing. And last thing I'm going to talk about is the video game effect. The first Pokemon video game that came out in 1996, which is red and green, that allowed you to catch Pokemon, battle Pokemon, trade Pokemon with friends, battle friends with Pokemon, as well as building up your characters and arsenal and all the story. And the game's evolved into more Pokemon coming out, or more of the hunting and trading type thing through the Switch. That also goes, the video games even come into the idea of Detective Pikachu, which switches genres, where it was eventually made into a movie, or Pokemon Snap, where you take pictures of Pokemon. It also comes into the newest Pokemon, most popular game, sold over 2 million copies in just 4 days, is none other than Poketopia, which comes out of the idea of Animal Crossing, as well as dungeon building and various other campaigns where you're a Ditto, which is a Pokemon character that looks at other Pokemon and gains several of their abilities as a Pokemon. This goes into the idea of building, and there's even a fighting game called Pokémon, which is like Tekken but with Pokemon characters. Pokemon characters are a key part of the video game Super Smash Brothers, where you battle a group there with stages and so forth. Pokemon has become so huge, it's almost too hard to figure out in anime life as an otaku before the idea of Pokemon. This has been my talk about the rise of Pokemon and how Pokemon became there. Thank you. I hope you enjoy. If you like, please like and hit subscribe. Thank you.
Morning pages, thinking tea. Dog-eared panels next to me. Late night quests and chapter break.